Pulp heroes, secret cabals, and greedy wizards. Hello, I'm Matthew and welcome to the 70th episode over the course of 3 years of the official place to get your board game news. Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze starts off what I'm going to incorrectly describe as today's magical journey. What is Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze? Well, it's promising to be a new way to play Unmatched, where instead of the classic head-to-head combat of the original game, in which you are running around the board with your hero and sidekicks trying to kick Bigfoot in the back of the head, here 1 to 4 players will be joining forces to cooperatively take down big bads, those being a Martian invader or Mothman. Innocent Mothman. All of this takes place in a pulpy mid-20th century, which is evident by the heroes. We have Nikola Tesla, who discharges his electrified coils to power up his effects, Annie Christmas, who gets stronger when she's fighting from behind, the Golden Bat, who's apparently the world's first superhero, and who could forget Dr. Jill Trent, the science sleuth with her collection of gizmos. Each game, you'll be working together to defeat one of the 2 villains on their unique battlefield with their unique objectives. And of course, if the villain completes their objectives or kills you, you lose. There's also a bunch of minions to deal with, including the Jersey Devil, Ant Queen, Loveland Frogman, the Blob, Tarantula, and the original Florida Man, the Skunk Ape. This one, if my calculations are correct, just launched on Kickstarter, so if you're looking for more Unmatched, then this might be up your street. The heroes and maps are also compatible with regular Unmatched, so that's cool as well. General Orders was the next game that I was excited about, and that's because of the design team and publisher, that being Trevor Benjamin, David Thompson, and Osprey Games. General Orders World War II is all about pitting 2 players as competing commanders against each other in a tug of war for control over a crucial Second World War battlefield, either in the mountains of Italy or the islands of the Pacific. You'll be striving to seize crucial strategic assets in order to unlock special abilities, all while you of course attempt to prevent your opponent from doing the same, as you try to manage and secure your supply lines, defend against aerial and artillery attacks that are coming for you and your precious HQ. And while none of the blurb for the game says it, this is a worker placement game that is meant to take place at around 30 minutes, so I was very intrigued indeed for this later on in the year. The Lost Ruins of Arnak is getting a new expansion called the Missing Expedition. A missing expedition on a lost ruin. I don't like their chances. Well, you're challenged to test the strategies offered by 2 new expedition leaders, expanding on those from the first expansion, as we explore new paths of knowledge on the 2 new research tracks, all while we build our expedition teams with new artifacts, items, and assistants. This looks a lot like another Here's More Game expansion, instead of a here's a whole new area you now have to manage type deal. And the Missing Expedition can also be used as part of a solo or 2-player cooperative campaign, which is the bit that most interests me, honestly. There's no information on the release date, but I'd certainly expect it around Essen. Emerson Matsuuchi's hugely popular spice trading trilogy, Century Spice Road, Eastern Wonders, and New World are being re-released in a new Century big box, which also includes all the promos ever made for the game and a new mini expansion called Golden Deals. This makes a lot of sense to me, honestly, as these games were all designed to be mixed and matched with each other to create 7 different combinations and way to play. So having it all together is cool, and this new mini expansion, the Golden Deals, has clear cards with effects on them, giving you something new to acquire that you can use to modify the cards you have in play, which I like. But I do also think it's worth mentioning that Eastern Wonders and A New World are normally 2 to 4 player games, but this big box is 2 to 5 players. So does that mean that everything is now up to 5 players, or just part of the big box? And will there be a Golem edition like the original games? All that information we will know soon when the game's out. I really wanted next to talk about a Kickstarter for the Secret Cabal podcast that's currently running. To be transparent, they are our friends here at Watch It Played. In fact, you'll have seen Jamie from the Secret Cabal in some of our videos. And if you love them as much as we do, then you might want to support them financially, and you can via their Kickstarter. I won't belabor it too much, but there's a bunch of merchandise. I want a hat. Jamie, give me a hat. There's a huge roster of promos up for grabs, but it's more about keeping the lights on and the engine running as they continue to do all their gaming content and strive to add a bunch more in the future, including audio dramas, comedy specials, and a Discord server. So if you're interested, head to their Kickstarter. Disney Animated is next, according to the thing I wrote that I'm now reading, for 2 to 4 players, designed by the prolific Prospero Hall team and coming from Funko Games, in which players will be working together in the Walt Disney Animation Studio to create some movie magic of your own. In the game, you need to produce 5 classic Disney films using detailed background art, vibrant paint colours and lively sound to bring classic stories to life, but the villains from these feature films will rush your deadlines and create all the calamity they can. So, are we making the movies, but the villains from the movies are actually real? That doesn't make any sense. It's probably not worth dwelling on. As a team, you must use the strengths of the animation studio, which classically, of course, was overwhelming financial backing. But in the game, they're using heart, focus, inspiration, grit, and teamwork. And you'll use them to, of course, vanquish the villains and finish your films in time. The 2 to 4 player Wizards & Co. now, where the High Necromancer is dead. His dungeons lie unguarded, packed and filled with gems and artifacts which are just ripe for plunder. There's just one problem, though, of course, is that the enchanted treasure vault can only be breached by a wizard, which is useful as in this game, you're a wizard. And even better than that, the game tells us that we're greedy wizards with nothing but time in our hands and no respect for the dead. The blurb for this one was pretty fun. Wizards & Co. is a strategic board game where players aim to collect valuable magical artifacts and sets of gemstones by placing creature cards face up and face down around octagonal dungeon boards. When no more cards can be placed on a dungeon, a battle takes place where creature abilities are triggered in clockwise turn order, and when the dust settles, loot is distributed accordingly, and the game goes on until a set of numbered dungeon tiles have been cleared. I am very interested in this game. It's coming from Sinister Fish, who I really like, and the game design team behind it designed games like Egizia, Coimbra, Grand Austria Hotel, Lorenzo Il Magnifico. It's a very long list, but it seems to all be tongue-in-cheek fun with lots and lots of interactions, so I'll be excited to check out the Kickstarter when it launches soon. The 1 to 4 player 3 Ring Circus is a game that I think looks really cool. It's from Devere Games, and this also has some excellent designer pedigree behind it. The circus has come to town, and under the tent, jugglers, clowns, magicians, strongmen, and wild beasts capture the curiosity of dedicated audiences. You, yes you, will take on the role of a circus director who tours their United States at the end of the 19th century. Your objective is to hire assistants and offer performances in various towns and cities with the intention of gaining fame. In towns, features are easy to set up and you just get your starting resources to upgrade your cast. Small cities are somewhat more demanding, but they allow you to come into contact with better artists and audiences. And big cities are even more demanding and want to see very specific numbers, but performing there brings you much more fame. But while your little circus tries to survive, the great and splendid P.T. Barnum Circus travels across the country, and when it arrives in a big city, a score is held in that region, and the circuses that have given the most performances there gain even more fame. I really can't wait to know more about this game, but Devere keep on knocking it out of the park, and this one looks great to me. And Watch Your Game classic Zhanguo is being brought back by Sorry We Are French with Zhanguo, the First Empire. It's 221 BC, and the warring states are being brought together to birth the vast Chinese Empire, ruled by Qin Shi Huang, a skilled and determined strategist, but a shrewd governor. He is aiming to undertake standardizing all the elements at the base of Chinese society and culture by imposing a new single script and a single currency, along with a new system of laws, all while installing local governors and starting construction of the Great Wall. All this is definitely going to take more than one lifetime, so Qin also sends ships to distant lands in search of the legendary elixir of life, while he also builds a huge reconstruction of his empire and the terracotta army. I thought writing this script was time consuming, but I guess it's a matter of perspective. In Zhanguo, the first empire, you will be going along with these plans as you attempt to offer your family a place in the terracotta army. And at the end of the game, the player who made the greatest contribution to the emperor's cause will win. This looks like a reprint of the original game, but there are certainly changes. According to the online threads, design changes have been made and additions to the original game have been incorporated, as well as, of course, the artwork I think looks awesome, so I'm looking forward to this one later this year. And that's your official board game news. But the Watch It Play team has more for you at the next stop, which will drop you off at our special On the Radar episode live from AirCon 2023, where awards are given out in some highly dubious categories. And I'll see you over there.